Good evening, it's Sunday evening tonight. My name's Samuel Leeds, and every week at 7 PM on a Sunday, I go through my Q&A Sunday questions and try and answer as best I can some of my favourite questions. So this week, what have we got from last week? Lil Pump 6, love it. He says, Samuel, what is the best strategy for a young person with no experience in property? Rent to rent or rent to SA? If you've got no experience in property, then maybe neither of those, because rent to rent and rent to SA, they're both very similar things. Rent to rent just means you rent a property and then you re-rent it out for a higher amount and keep the difference. Rent to SA is the same, it's just the way that you choose to do it. If you do this with no experience and no training, there's risks. There's risks. You can end up taking a property on that you rent out to the landlord, you rent out from the landlord, but then when you re-rent it out, you can't. And then you end up with a bill to pay, which you can't afford to pay. Or you might do it illegally because you don't do it on the correct contract. So I would be very careful if you say I'm a young person with no experience, should I just start a rent-to-rent business? I'd be very careful. I think what you'd be better off doing, if I were you, well, when I was really young and I was starting out, what I did was I worked for people for free. And I went on as many good training programs as I could. I was just like immersed myself like a sponge around property investors, going on training programs. So the kind of thing that I did when I was starting out with no experience would be I would package and sell a property, but do it for free. Just to see if I could do it, you know, just to get the experience of doing it. So find a really good deal, negotiate, get a good price on it, and then I'm like, right, brilliant, I've got this good deal, I've got a good price on it. Then go and speak to investors that I met at training courses and stuff and say, hey, I've got this deal, I'm a deal packager, but you know what, I'm young and I'm just starting out, so I'd like to pass the property on to somebody and I'm not going to charge. All I want is a testimonial once the deal's completed. And then pass it on, and if the deal sucks and the investor goes, oh, actually this deal sucks, you'll be like, geez, well, I'm glad I didn't try and charge somebody. As if they say, wow, that's a great deal, and they buy it and they leave you a testimonial. Then you've been endorsed, you're now experienced, and you're thinking, geez, I could have got a few £1,000s for that deal. And then next time you can sell it. So that's the kind of thing that I would start doing. But definitely get the training. You know, it's the best investment. I mean, people say to me, you only say that, Samuel, because you run a training company. No, it's the other way round. I run a training company because I really believe in the power and importance of education. Carlo21. Hi, Samuel. If your goal is to source deals to package and sell to other investors, how would you approach your conversation with estate agents and vendors? Good question. Do you make it clear from the outset what your intentions are and that any deal will be something you intend to package and pass on to an investor? See you at the crash course in July. I look forward to seeing you at the crash course in July. Okay, I'm a very transparent person. The way I do business, just generally in life, part of my core values is to just put my cards on the table and be super transparent. However, when it comes to estate agents do not like deal sourcers. And the reason that estate agents do not like deal sourcers, and a deal sourcer, for anyone that's wondering, is someone who finds a property, buys it, or agrees to buy it, but then they don't buy it themselves, they then pass it on to an investor and charge a fee. So they're almost like a broker. So the reason estate agents don't like deal sourcers is because there's so many bad deal sourcers. So many time wasters, and what they do is they go around, offer on properties, you know, and then when they get a good deal or an estate agent says, yes, your offer's accepted, they're then like, yes, but then they can't sell the property because they've got no investors and they've got no, and then what happens is the estate agent's like, you agreed to buy this, you're gonna buy it or what? Well, I'm just gonna try and sell it. And the agent's like, and then it creates bad blood. And there is an element of bad blood generally between estate agents and deal packagers, deal sourcers. So the problem with going to an estate agent and say, if you're dealing with a vendor, it's different. If you're dealing with a vendor, I would just say, you know, I would just be totally upfront. I would just say, I'm a deal packager, deal sourcer, so I find properties, and then I have a list or a team of investors, and one of those would buy the property, not me. No problem. No problem. But estate agents, they don't like that. So when I'm buying from estate agents, the problem is I don't want to go to an estate agent and say I'm a deal sourcer, because then what will happen is they will associate me with all the douche deal sourcers out in the country, and then they'll just be like, oh, we don't deal with deal sourcers. So what I usually do with estate agents is I'll view the property as if I'm buying it. I'll put the offer forward as if I'm buying it. And then when the offer is accepted, and then the estate agent says to me, it's been accepted, please can you now send me over your ID, mortgage, proof of deposit and things like that. I'll say no problem. I'll then, boom, sell the deal. And for me, it takes minutes to sell a deal because I've got a massive list of investors that are looking for deals. Good deal. If the deal's good, it will sell fast. So I'll then sell the deal. And then the buyer that says, yeah, I want the deal, I'll say, no problem. I'll take his money off him, which is my fee, maybe £3,000 or whatever. And then I'll then ask him to send his details, his passport details and his ID or whatever, a proof of deposit, through me to the agent. And I'll email the agent and I'll say, hey, you asked for the details. It's actually going to be going in the name of Joe Bloggs, who's one of my investors or a colleague, whatever. Here's his details. Here's his proof of deposit. Here's his passport, and I'll send it over. And then the estate agent will see it, and the estate agent won't care that. They'll just be thinking like, whether they know that you're a sourcer at this point in time, but the estate agent now is just going to be thinking like, oh, well, I've got his proof of deposit and everything like that, and it's going to be Joe buying it. Joe Bloggs, investor. Cool. Then, when the deal goes through, the estate agent knows that I am someone that takes properties off them. I'm serious. So then I'll say, hi, yeah, I'm looking for some more properties. As you know, last time it was in Joe's name. I work with a lot of investors, but they take me seriously. They don't just think I'm like every other deal sourcer. So, sorry, that was a little bit of a long answer, but I hope that was helpful. Comment below if it was, and let me know. Bilal Riaz. Hi Samuel, how do you decide which street to buy on and when you don't live in the area? Bilal, for me, it's just about numbers. That's it. It's just about numbers. I don't care about what the street looks like. I don't care about if the garden's pretty. I don't care about the neighbour's dog, the colour of the front door. I don't care if the house is pretty or if it's ugly. I don't care about anything like that. Makes it super simple. Why? Because I'm not buying with my feelings, I'm buying with my formulas. All I care about when I'm looking at a property is what am I putting in and what am I getting out? What's my return on investment? That's all I care about. So how do I decide which street to buy on? I want to know what's the rent in the street. How much rent am I going to get? If it's a really bad street, I might not get as much rent, and I care about the rent. But that's not from a feelings point of view. That's from a formulas point of view. How do I find out what the rent is? I talk to letting agents. I do my research online. I do my due diligence. So for me, it's all just strictly about the numbers. And if I don't live in the area, again, it doesn't matter because I'm going to get a management company to do it. Buy low, rent high with a property manager nearby. True passive income, formulas not feelings, that's how I buy. So I hope that answers. I don't buy in the really rough neighbourhood streets if it's like the middle of a red light district and there's people you know, walking around with no shoes and socks on and with pit bulls off leashes and broken glass everywhere. I won't buy there. But I'm not generally speaking, you'll get a high return on investment when you buy in a lower area because there's no direct correlation between the house price and the rent. This is all stuff that we go into great detail on the Property Investors Crash Course, and on the program you'll actually find deals. I'll find deals live on stage, so I hope to see you there. But I hope that helps somewhat right now. This is Robbo 1991. Hey Samuel, please could you clear this up? How would I know how much my mortgage would be before I buy the property to let out, so I know what my profit will be each month? Thanks. Okay, so generally speaking, mortgage interest rates are around about 3% for buy to let. So all you're going to do is you're going to take 75% of the purchase price, because again, generally speaking, you're going to put down a deposit of 25%, assuming that you're using your own money. You're going to put down a deposit of 25%. You can do less, but I'm just being safe and conservative. Your mortgage outstanding is going to be 75% of the purchase price. Assuming that your interest rates that you've got are 3%, I mean, you might fix them. You might want to fix them for 5 years or even 10 years and pay a little bit extra. But assuming there's 3%, and you'll have to speak to a broker and speak to the lender to see the exact amount, you're just going to times the outstanding mortgage, which is 75% of the purchase price, times that by 3%. That will then give you your annual interest mortgage payments. You're then going to look at your annual rent. And your annual rent needs to be a lot more. Otherwise you won't be making much profit. So if your interest payments are £400 a month and your rent is £500 a month, that's no good. Because it leaves you a £100 cushion and you've got to pay maintenance and management. It's no good. If your monthly mortgage interest payments are £200 and your rent's £1,000, then you've got a lot of profit in there somewhere. So you've got a lot of cushion. So even if interest rates rise a little bit, or if you have a bad month, you've still got so much profit that you're okay. And that's the thing. That's all I care about. When I'm buying property, it's about making money. So, and then you know, and then of course you can then reinvest that and buy more houses. So that is how to work out your profit. Again, at the Property Investors Crash Course, we have return on investment sheets that we give you. So it's really easy to just you find a property and you can just work out exactly what your profit's going to be on the house. So if you've not been to that, I would suggest you do. There we go, guys. That's Q&A Sunday. Every day I do a video. We have Mentoring Monday, TV Tuesday, Winners on a Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, Financially Free by Friday, Podcast Saturday, and Q&A Sunday. So whack your comments below and I'll answer them hopefully for next week. Smash that like, share the love, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7 PM on Mentoring Monday. Thanks so much, guys.